What you are seeing here is not some rocky barren area from some faraway place on Earth. No, this is actually Mars. 13 years ago, NASA deployed the Curiosity rover on Mars, and then 3 years ago, they sent another rover, Perseverance, to join the mission. These rovers were sent to map the planet and study its surface. And now, finally, they have sent back some super incredible footage that is simply mind-blowing. So, what exactly are we seeing here? And what else have these rovers been up to since they touched down on the red planet? The first Mars exploration. Our fascination with Mars, or what we like to call the red planet, has been around for centuries, but it wasn't until the space age that we could get a closer look. The first successful mission to Mars was the Mariner 4, which was launched by NASA in 1964. This was a flyby mission, and it sent back the first close-up photos of Mars. This is when we first got to know that Mars has a cratered, moon-like surface. It was a big achievement that ignited our thirst for more knowledge about our neighboring planet. In the years that followed, several other missions were launched. The Viking missions in the 1970s were particularly impressive. Viking 1 and Viking 2 both landed on Mars and conducted experiments to look for signs of life. Although they didn't find definitive evidence of life, they provided a wealth of information about Mars's soil, atmosphere, and weather patterns. Mars exploration has come a long way since those early missions. Each mission is built on the successes and lessons of the ones before it. The 1990s saw the Mars Pathfinder mission, which delivered the Sojourner rover. This was a small, six-wheeled rover that could move around and analyze rocks and soil. It was a huge step forward, demonstrating that we could not only land on Mars but also move around and explore its surface. The 2000s brought even more ambitious missions. The Mars Global Surveyor orbited the planet and mapped its surface in detail. The Mars Odyssey mission, which was launched in 2001, discovered large amounts of hydrogen just below the Martian surface. This was a great discovery, as it indicated the presence of water ice. Each of these discoveries hinted at the possibility of life on Mars, either in the past or present, and certainly suggested that humans could one day live there. But why is studying Mars so important? Why don't we go to Venus or Mercury? Well, for one, Mars is the most Earth-like planet in our solar system. It has seasons, polar ice caps, and weather patterns. Understanding Mars can help us understand more about our own planet's history and future. Other than that, Mars has the potential to be a future home for humanity. As Earth faces challenges like climate change and overpopulation, Mars can give us a possible second home for humans. But before we can think about colonizing Mars, we need to understand it better. That's where these missions come in. NASA's rover missions. NASA's rover missions have been at the forefront of Mars exploration. These rovers are like robotic scientists, given tools to study the Martian surface and environment in detail. The program began with the Sojourner rover, which was part of the Mars Pathfinder mission. It was followed by the twin rovers Spirit and Opportunity, which landed on Mars in 2004. These rovers were designed to last 90 days, but ended up exploring for years. Spirit explored the Gusev crater, while Opportunity made incredible discoveries in the Meridiani Planum region, including evidence of past water activity. With these successes, NASA decided to build its best rovers ever. They aimed to push the boundaries of what we know about Mars and seek answers to new questions. So, what new rovers did they create after Spirit and Opportunity? The Curiosity rover. The first next-generation rover sent to Mars by NASA was Curiosity. On November 26, 2011, NASA launched the Curiosity rover as part of the Mars Science Laboratory mission. After a 9-month journey, Curiosity landed on Mars on August 6, 2012. The landing site was Gale Crater, chosen because scientists thought it might have once had water and possibly life. The descent and landing were so tense, so stressful, that it is now called the 7 Minutes of Terror. It involved a complex sequence of events, including a sky crane maneuver that had never been tried before. Despite the risks, the landing was a success, and Curiosity sent back its first images from the Martian surface, marking the beginning of a new era in Mars exploration. Curiosity is packed with all kinds of gadgets to help with its exploration. It is about the size of a car, measuring 10 feet long, 9 feet wide, and 7 feet tall, and weighs nearly 2,000 pounds. One of its amazing features is the ChemCam. a tool that uses a laser to zap rocks and soil, turning them into gas so it can study their makeup. You can think of it as a laser gun that can analyze what things are made of from a distance. Another incredible tool is the Sample Analysis at Mars, or SAM. This tiny lab can analyze the chemical makeup of samples, including checking for organic compounds, which are crucial for determining if there was ever life on Mars. Curiosity is powered by a special power source called a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, RTG, which converts heat from the decay of plutonium-238 into electricity. This power source allows Curiosity to keep going day and night, through all seasons, without running out of energy. Building all these gadgets for Curiosity was no cheap task. The entire Mars Science Laboratory mission, including Curiosity, cost about $2.5 billion. That's a lot of money, but the mission has given us tons of amazing information about Mars, making it worth every penny. But why did they name it Curiosity? Naming a rover is a big deal for NASA, and they love to get kids involved. For Curiosity, they held an essay contest for students across the U.S. in 2009. The kids had to come up with a name and write about why they chose it. A sixth grader from Kansas named Clara Ma won the contest. She suggested the name Curiosity in her essay, writing, "Curiosity is an everlasting flame that burns in everyone's mind. It makes me get out of bed in the morning and wonder what surprises life will throw at me that day." Curiosity is such a powerful force. Without it, we wouldn't be who we are today. Curiosity is the passion that drives us through our everyday lives. We have become explorers and scientists with our need to ask questions and to wonder. NASA loved how she captured the spirit of exploration, so they chose her name for the rover. It's a great way to remind everyone that exploration and discovery are for all of us. The discoveries by Curiosity. Curiosity's mission on Mars has been nothing short of spectacular. It has made a series of discoveries that have improved our understanding of the red planet. Did you know Curiosity detected organic compounds on Mars? Curiosity took some rock samples from Gale Crater and found out that these rocks had organic compounds. These organic molecules, which contain carbon, could potentially be used as building blocks and food for life. But why was this discovery so meaningful? The presence of organic compounds on Mars tells us that the planet might have once supported life, even if it never actually did. Scientists found that the isotopes in carbon dioxide and methane could be consistent with ancient biological activity, but they could also result from non-life processes, like interactions between sunlight and carbon dioxide in Mars' atmosphere. This discovery motivates ongoing and future studies, not just with Curiosity, but with other missions looking for signs of life beyond Earth. Curiosity also detected fluctuations in the amount of methane in the near-surface atmosphere of Mars. On Earth, most methane in the atmosphere comes from biological processes, but we don't know if that's the case on Mars. While Curiosity cannot tell us if the methane it found is from biological sources, it did provide a clue that some biological process might be occurring on Mars. It is essential for life, but it needs to be in a fixed form to be usable. Curiosity found fixed nitrogen in the form of nitrate in rock samples. This suggests that usable nitrogen was present on Mars 3.5 billion years ago. This is what kept Martian life forms alive. All these Curiosity's findings are compelling, which is why in 2022 NASA extended Curiosity's mission at least into 2025. But Mars is too big, and a little rover cannot study it all, which is why NASA decided to launch their second rover. How is this next rover different from Curiosity? The Perseverance rover. After Curiosity, NASA sent its Perseverance rover to Mars. It was launched on July 30th, 2020, and landed on February 18th, 2021. The landing site this time was Jezero Crater. It was chosen because it is believed to have once been a place of an ancient river delta and lake, making it an ideal location to search for signs of past life. The landing process was an edge-of-your-seat event. Perseverance entered Mars' atmosphere at a speed of about 12,000 miles per hour. Like Curiosity, it had to endure the 7 minutes of terror as it slowed down, deployed a parachute, and executed a sky crane maneuver to gently place itself on the Martian surface. This complex sequence of events had to be performed autonomously, as the distance between Earth and Mars makes real-time communication impossible. Everything went smoothly, and Perseverance touched down safely, ready to begin its mission. Now, let's talk about its incredible engineering and technology. Perseverance is about the size of a car, similar in dimensions to its predecessor, Curiosity, but with some significant upgrades. The rover is equipped with a suite of advanced scientific instruments designed to study the Martian surface in unprecedented detail. One of its amazing features is the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, or MOXIE. What does it do? Well, you will have to wait for a few minutes to find out. For now, let's have a look at its sophisticated set of cameras and sensors. It has 19 cameras, the most ever sent to Mars, which allow it to capture high-definition images and videos of the Martian terrain. These cameras help scientists back on Earth study the planet's geology and look for signs of ancient microbial life. Perseverance also carries a drill to collect rock and soil samples, which will be stored in sealed tubes for potential return to Earth by a future mission. The rover's wheels have been redesigned for better durability and traction. This is important because the Martian surface can be extremely rough, and Perseverance needs to navigate it effectively to carry out its scientific tasks. Its power source, like Curiosity's, is a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, which converts heat from the decay of plutonium-238 into electricity. It allows the rover to operate continuously through all seasons. Now, let's talk about how Perseverance got its name. NASA once again turned to students for inspiration. In 2019, they launched a Name the Rover essay contest where they invited students across the United States to propose names and explain their choices. The winning entry came from a 7th grader named Alexander Ma. He chose the name Perseverance based on the fact that we humans have been enduring challenges and pushing forward for centuries, which he felt was important for space exploration. NASA loved how the name captured the spirit of the mission, and thus the rover was christened Perseverance, or nicknamed Percy. The coolest thing about Perseverance was that it was sent with a little sidekick, the Ingenuity helicopter. But why was it equipped with a helicopter when it had 19 cameras of its own? The Ingenuity helicopter arrived on Mars on February 18, 2021, attached to the underside of the Perseverance rover. It was a great experiment. The scientists wanted to see if we could actually fly a helicopter on Mars, where the atmosphere is just 1% as dense as Earth's. Initially, Ingenuity was only supposed to make 5 flights over 30 sols, Martian days. These test flights were designed to prove that controlled flight in Mars' thin atmosphere was possible. Each flight lasted up to 90 seconds, reaching altitudes between 10 to 16 feet, but Ingenuity far exceeded expectations. By measuring the ratio of deuterium to hydrogen in water samples, Curiosity provided evidence of hydrogen escape and water loss over time. This helps scientists understand the planet's long-term climate changes. After this, Curiosity also detected biologically useful nitrogen on Mars. What it found was so surprising. You see, on Earth, nitrogen is essential for life, but it needs to be in a fixed form to be usable. Curiosity found fixed nitrogen in the form of nitrate in rock samples. This suggests that usable nitrogen was present on Mars 3.5 billion years ago, which is what might have kept Martian life forms alive.